Jose, how key might the next 8 days or so be in terms of trying to set you up for a really fantastic end to the season? The second leg of the League Cup and then that obviously game with Manchester City next weekend.
No, we have 2 knockout matches in 3 days, so we can after Tuesday we can be in 4 competitions or only 2, and of course we want to try to be in all 4. But it's 2 consecutive matches knockout, 2 cups in 3 days, and that says everything. The third match is just a Premier League match, one of 38, and that is different. Doesn't decide anything. But Bradford and Liverpool, yes, they decide if we are still in the competition.
I know you don't talk about the quadruple, but do you think on a general level one day an English club will manage to do the quadruple?
Very difficult. It's very difficult. I think really difficult to do it for anyone, and not just because it's difficult to win the competitions, but also the way the fixtures are organized is very, very difficult. Because, for example, a team that plays the Capital Cup final will have 1 game in the Premier League postponed. A team that plays the FA Cup semi-final will have a game postponed. A team that gets a draw in the FA Cup has to play another game. And if a team is in all these competitions plus the European competition until the end of the season, will arrive a moment in April, May, where it's so difficult that I would say almost impossible.
Will your team selection tomorrow reflect the fact that you've got a second leg of that League Cup semi-final?
No. My team tomorrow reflects the fact that if we lose the game, we are out, and if we draw, we have to go to Bradford, and we don't want to be out, and if possible, we don't have a need of a second match against Bradford. So the team will reflect our desire to go to the next round, and will reflect the respect that Bradford deserves from us, because this season we played already against League One teams and Championship teams, and I don't remember a easy game.
I know you have said no one in, no one out in a perfect world in this transfer window, but do you think the club are now moving to a situation where it's more likely there's going to be...
No, the club doesn't move. We don't move. Our desire is to keep the same squad, which reflects that we are happy with the players, reflects that we are happy with the work we did in the summer to prepare the season, reflects the trust we have in the group, and if possible, we don't want to be involved in the transfer window. If we have to be, it's because somebody pushed us for that, with some interest in our players, with some offer for our players. But Chelsea moving and looking for a change, no.
Accept that, but in that case, are Roma pushing for Mo Salah, for example? I mean, there are reports and talks that the clubs have been negotiating. Is there anything in that?
No, Salah is selected for tomorrow. No.
And what about Andre Schürrle? Is he still...
It's the same. He's selected for tomorrow. He played against Swansea 1 week ago. He was ill. He didn't play, not even selected against Liverpool. He's back to the group, and normally starting the game tomorrow.
So you're saying you think those two players will definitely still be here come next month?
I cannot say that as I was telling you, because the window is open, but what I can say is that I like them, I need them, and I trust them. So I cannot select the same 18 players every game. I only can play 11. Sal is not playing a lot, Schürrle more than him, but they are players that they played for us in every competition. Even in the Champions League, they played for us, and I count on them. And tomorrow, selected to play both.
If one was to move, though, would you expect Chelsea to bring someone else in?
Yes.
And how quickly do you think that deal might be done? I mean, there's talk of...
I have no idea, because I don't know if a deal is going to happen. I don't know. If my club tells me we have a certain offer for a certain player we think is a good movement for us, because as you know, we need to be sometimes in the market, because we are very honored to be and to be fair with the rules of the financial fair play. Sometimes we have needs, like we had in the past transfer windows, where we sold some players. But the reality is that normally nothing should happen in the next 2 weeks, and we should go to February with the same squad.
Is Juan Cuadrado the man earmarked to come in if you do have someone leave?
No, there are not men marked.
Okay. You mentioned you're going to field a strong side this weekend against Bradford City. Have you got any injury worries at all? Or how key is it for the next couple of weeks that stays the same in terms of your season?
It's key for tomorrow. We don't know what is going to happen after tomorrow, but the reality is that in this moment we have all the reasons to be smiling, because we don't have injuries. This in this moment is really good.
Okay. Just one last one for me. Arsene Wenger was talking yesterday about scrapping work permits for non-EU players to make it easier to sign them. Do you think that's something that should be considered, or are you're happy with the rules as they stand?
No, I'm happy to focus just on what I have to do, and I have 3 matches in a week to play, and I prefer to focus on that.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jonathan. Joseph, if you got a good offer for Andre Schürrle, would you be happy to let him go, or would you want him to stay here this month?
The principle is that we would like him to stay.
But if the offer was good enough, is he one of the players that might be allowed to go?
The question is not to be allowed or not to be allowed, and the question is not to have a good offer. The question is to have a phenomenal offer and a player to be super keen of accept a new challenge in his career, because we don't want to sell our players.
Tomorrow, will you be resting any senior players? Because from what you've said there, it's going to be quite a strong team, isn't it?
It's a team only with senior players, but I will rest some. Yes.
Can you tell us who you might be resting?
John Terry.
Anyone else?
Let me choose another one. And,
Okay, who will start in goal?
Peter?
Peter will start in goal then. How did he take the decision not to play against Liverpool, given he kept 3 clean sheets and he played in all the other rounds? Was he okay with it?
You know, Courtois could play against Swansea.
Right, so
He could play against Swansea. Peter didn't play against Swansea because Courtois was injured. Courtois had a problem, but a problem that would never stop him to play. You know, it was my decision to play Peter against Swansea based on the fact that I trust him. He was playing well, and if one of my goalkeepers has a little problem, the other one is so good that I don't have a need to play a goalkeeper with a small problem. But against Swansea, if Courtois could play against Liverpool on the Tuesday, he was ready to play on the Saturday against Swansea. So I made a decision to play Peter.
Has that been one of your hardest decisions?
No.
To choose between the
It's
two?
my easiest decision. Yes, no other manager in the world is so happy and so comfortable as I am about the problems I have in goal. You know, against Arsenal, Courtois injured after 20 minutes. Nothing happened. Change, you know, so easy.
You say that you don't have any market man to come here to Chelsea, and Caden Shurley and Salah could play. But you have seen Juan Cuadrado? You think this is a kind of player that can match with your...
He's a player from Fiorentina. I shouldn't make any comments about players from other clubs. And you speak about Cuadrado, you can speak about 10, 20, 30 players, and you ask me if I know them. If I don't know them, I'm in trouble because my son knows them. You know, so I have to know them. It's my job to know them all. So if you ask me about Cuadrado, you can now come with another name. I have to say, yes, I know them. I know them all.
He fits in your squad, the way that he plays.
I think he fits well in Fiorentina squad and Colombia squad, not in Chelsea squad.
Jose, if Andre does stay, what does he have to do to become a first team regular?
He's a first team regular, but in the way I think I understand what you are trying to say, he has to perform better than Hazard and William.
He
Yes.
obviously came back from winning the World Cup with all that confidence. Have you had to sort of have words with him? Because it must be a bit of a blow for him to be on the bench.
You know, if you remember day one, we play against Burnley, and Andre was in the starting lineup, and William was on the bench. And as a consequence of a good performance and the goal he scored and the team winning, the next game he was in the team. He was in the team again, and he started lots of matches, Champions League matches, Premier League matches. He started lots of matches, so I consider him an important player. I consider him a regular. I consider him an important option. I consider everything, but in this moment, the way Hazard and William they are performing, the stability of their performances in attack, in defense, in transitions, I think in this moment, unless I find a tactical system with 3 wingers, it's difficult to be in front of Eden and William because they are playing so well.
So he's never moaned to you. He's never shown any.
It's not the kid to moan. it's easy to feel when a player is very happy, when a player is a bit sad. Is normal. But he's a good professional. He works always well, and is not his personality to be mourning. I like him a lot.
His illness this week, was that a recurrence of what happened earlier in the season, or is it completely different? The illness this week that made him miss the Liverpool match, was that a recurrence of what happened earlier this season?
Andre?
Yeah.
No, but in here we have a way of think and deal with these little problems, health problems. Mm-hmm. When somebody shows a first sign of high temperature or vomiting or this kind of little signs of something, go home. We don't keep here a player that can. We prefer to lose a player because he's a little doubt than to risk and to keep him in the camp and to keep him with the other players and to lose 2, 3 or 4 as a consequence of that. So every little problem we have, the player goes home and the doctors, they take care of him at home, not here.
And that was the same with Drogba.
Yes.
Yes.
Jose, how important is momentum in this part of the season going into these games, especially with obviously Liverpool next week and then Manchester City?
I don't think it's important. No, at all. I think when you play knockouts and you play big matches against the best opponents, and the momentum means nothing. The momentum is the 90 minutes of that game, and I think people motivates and no favorites, and momentum doesn't play a role, I think.
And John Terry being rested, does that mean Kurt Zouma will come in? And how impressed have you been with him this season that he's adapted so quickly to the Premier League?
Impressed. We bought the talent, but the talent was far from being ready. And in the beginning of the season, still people thinking that it would be better for him to go somewhere and play, but we thought it was better for him to stay and learn and have his evolution here in his habitat, where for sure he's going to be a player for many years, and he's playing so many matches in every competition. Even in the Premier League he had a start, and a difficult start against Newcastle. So we are very happy with him.
Wally.
Jose, I appreciate you're not talking about players owned by the clubs, but I just wondered if you were surprised by the figures that are mentioned with Real Madrid spending on Martin Odegaard, the 15-year-old boy they've signed this week.
I don't know the figures.
So around 40, some people saying £80,000 a week.
No comments.